Welcome, everyone. Just a few years ago, 3 Emirati students, female Emirati students, were seated in a classroom. They were learning the same subject from the same teacher at the same time. They had a lot in common, but they had one thing that wasn't in common. Would anybody care to venture what that is? No. But that's a good start. Anyone else? Well, let me tell you, it was the early 1970s. This nation was recently born and was etching its first steps. Her Highness Sheikha Fatima, with her incredible foresight, was standing shoulder to shoulder with the visionary late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. May God bless his soul. Recognizing that education of the girl child would be a pivotal pillar for building a future society, she was insisting that parents send their daughters to school. Young mothers had concerns. They didn't want to send their daughters for many hours a day to a new place alone. And Sheikha Fatima had a solution. She asked the mothers to accompany their daughters. The mothers then had other concerns. Who would take care of the elderly at home? The mothers were primarily the caregivers. And Her Highness, in her infinite wisdom, had an answer for them. She said, take them to school as well. So that's how Emirati daughters, mothers, and grandmothers became classmates, learning the alphabet, history, literature, and science together. I heard this story this weekend from Her Excellency Dr. Maitha Al-Shamsi, the Minister of State of the UAE, who wrote the book on Her Highness Sheikha Fatima's multifaceted and inspirational journey. I was moved by the simple, pure, and relentless nature of her leadership, and I couldn't resist sharing this story with all of you today. Her Highness made it possible. She insisted that daughters, their mothers, attended school together, learned together, and help each other, because she knew the importance of women being educated and empowered. And just a short 5 decades later, the UAE currently ranks 18th globally and first in the region in women empowerment. 80% of the science team behind the Emirates Mars mission were women. We have over 23,000 women entrepreneurs in the region, in Emirati female entrepreneurs, and this has been a growth of over 60% just in the last 10 years. So of course, we are at an important, momentous occasion today. It is my pleasure to tell you about the importance of this campaign and to welcome each and every one of you today. We are in a country where women occupy 15% of board positions in chambers of commerce in the UAE. And like I mentioned, we have the number of Emirati women entrepreneurs making up 10% of all Emirati entrepreneurs. So the women in this room today are the role models, the homegrown role models, paving the way for the future of a sustainable nation. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you gathered here today. Her Highness Sheikha Fatima, the mother of this nation, is exemplified by modesty, by magnanimity, and her unwavering determination to further avenues for Emirati women. Each year, on the 28th of August, this country celebrates Emirati Women's Day. And this year, the theme is Inspiring Reality, Sustainable Futures. startAD endeavored on this theme and is recognizing 51 inspiring women, 51 real success stories who are paving the way for a future that is sustainable environmentally, economically, and socially. This is a historic moment. Today is the first time ever that an initiative is highlighting the stories of 51 Emirati women who have championed innovation and entrepreneurship. We are very blessed and indebted to have the patronage of Her Highness Sheikha Fatima bint Mubarak, Chairwoman of the General Women's Union, President of the Supreme Council for Motherhood and Childhood, and the Supreme Chairwoman for the Family Development Foundation. I'm so glad to share with you that Her Highness has expressed to us her appreciation for this initiative on Emirati Women's Day and her pride in the daughters and sons of this nation who have proven their capabilities over the past decades. We will begin the evening today with words of inspiration from the dignitaries attending, following which we'll unveil the commemorative book that celebrates all of you. After this, we would have a photo op with each of you individually, all the 51 Emirati women achievers being recognized. And then we will have a scintillating panel discussion with 5 women who are being featured in the book. I encourage all the Emirati women achievers to be seated on the right side of the stage so you can access the stage easily through the ramp. After the photo op, we will have a short 10-minute break. And like I mentioned, after that, we would have the panel discussion. The finale for today would be where we will recognize every individual Emirati woman, and you will receive your copy of the book. The program is being live streamed, so you're all on air now, and we have a lot of people joining us virtually. The live stream can be accessed through the calendar invite that you have. We also have an exciting TikTok filter that we are debuting today for all the social media enthusiasts in the room. You just need to search for startAD on the TikTok effects and the filter would come up and you can shoot yourself using the effect. We encourage all of you to tag startAD in your social media posts so we can find the content, reshare, and post it on our pages as well. Once again, thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. I hope you are as excited as all of us for the events to unfold. With that, I invite Professor Ramesh Jagannathan, the Managing Director of startAD, to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you, Nihal. Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here today to celebrate the release of the commemorative book of Emirati Women Achievers as part of the events leading up to the Emirati Women's Day celebrations on the 28th. Tamkeen and startAD are very proud to have had the opportunity to curate and produce this book. I would like to take a moment to thank the encouragement and support of many who have contributed to this important milestone. First and foremost, Her Highness Sheikha Fatima, the mother of the nation, for her vision, strong foundation, and relentless work in elevating women, and for her patronage of the campaign. A very special thanks to Her Excellency Dr. Maitha Al-Shamsi and her offices for their commitment and support. We are very excited to have Rima Al-Makhara, Chairman of Tamkeen, with us today, and thank you for playing a central role in creating startAD. Thank you, Rima. We are here today because of your vision and support. Thank you. I would like to thank Marriott Westerman, Vice Chancellor of NYU-AD, and the NYU-AD leadership team for their consistent support for startAD. Partners and supporters include U.S. Mission to the UAE, Khalifa Fund, UN Women, AMCAM, and many more. Thank you all. The teams working behind the scenes to bring the campaign alive, partners, AD Government, Media Office, and Abu Dhabi Media Group, Wise Monkeys, Digital Street, Hanover, and the startAD team. We could not have done this without your drive and hard work. Thank you. And very importantly, to each and every woman who was recognized today, and many more who were nominated for expressing their commitment and showcasing their own inspirational story toward a sustainable future. You are amazing role models of what is possible. Today is about you and your accomplishments, and thank you. So let's first talk about women entrepreneurs in general and look at some global data, shall we? Globally, 139 million women are owners and managers of established businesses, This is about half of all the total businesses. That's a good place to start. However, we have just gone through a pandemic. Women were more deeply impacted by the pandemic than their male counterparts, especially considering areas like support for family care and schooling. The reality is that women were 20% more likely than men to report a business closure globally due to the pandemic. Also, there is asymmetry in terms of investment. Investments in companies founded or co-founded by women averaged about $935,000, which is less than half the average investment of a little more than $2 million invested in companies founded by male entrepreneurs. This is not only very, very unfortunate, but a bad business decision, because startups founded and co-founded by women are significantly better financial investments. For every dollar of funding received, women-founded startups returned 78 cents, whereas the male-founded startups returned just 31 cents. Those are hard facts. It is fair to say that globally, people, organizations, and governments are realizing that there is this glaring and unacceptable gender gap in all aspects of life: workplace, pay inequalities, home, sports, politics, and the list goes on. In Abu Dhabi, I'm very pleased to recognize that this is a priority agenda item for innovation foundation builders, and is very evident in the room today. It has been a very slow process globally because we are trying to remodel a world built by men, so to speak. Do you want to know how slow it is? Being a professor, let me give you a simple example. There are more women driving cars than men in the world today. They have been driving cars ever since the invention of cars. So you would expect the cars to be designed to accommodate the women drivers. What is one thing that all women have with them all the time? A purse or a handbag? Also, a purse is more than just an accessory, it is an expression. But after more than a century of automobiles, you would think that the cars would have a place to put the purse. But the answer is a simple no. Women have to leave the purse on the seat next to them or on the floor if the seat is taken. You can have a place for a coffee cup, but not for the purse. You will all agree that the situation is unacceptable. The coffee cup problem is symptomatic of a larger issue called implicit bias. It's an active area of research in major academic institutions. You can have as many legislations and rules you can imagine. Yes, they are important, but it is my view that you cannot legislate change. It has to be organic, ground up and not top down. It has to be a movement. Imagine a world where women are the job creators and not job seekers. They are the directors of their own destiny. They are going to have the opportunity to tell their story of their home, the community, the country as they see it, through the products and services they create. Just like a sculptor sculpts their imagination, like the painter paints their emotions, women entrepreneurs and innovation drivers will give shape to their sensibilities and profoundness through their product creations of the region, of the culture, as seen through their eyes and experienced by them. Yes, as entrepreneurs, they can do it. Now, artificial intelligence-driven second machine age, the fourth industrial revolution, has leveled the playing field. Technology of today does not have the legacy of implicit bias yet. It is a fresh new start, an opportunity to build a world that is fair, equitable, and respecting the planet that we live in. Interestingly, we call it the Mother Earth. My message to you today is it is time to stop remodeling the house built by men. You will build a house that reflects who you are. I will end with this example. You all know the old-fashioned circus? The elephant trainer always ties a rope to one leg of the elephant and ties the other end of the rope to a small metal stake on the ground. You all know that the elephant can easily pull itself free from the stake anytime it wants to, but it does not, because it is trained not to. My mother always told me that men keep telling women things they cannot do. She said that after a while, women start believing that they cannot do things, just like the elephant. My message to you is simply this: please don't be that elephant. Be bold in your vision and unleash your full potential. You will make the impossible possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh. And I must say that the startAD team is almost 90% female. And Ramesh, you're an honorary female because how you empower us and how, in all our programs and everything that you do, you ensure that the gender inclusion is a basic start. So thank you, Professor Ramesh. A world imagined by women is something worth looking forward to. I'm thrilled to share with you that just a couple of hours ago, the first copy of the Emirati Women Achievers commemorative book was handed to Her Excellency Dr. Maytha Al-Shamsi, the Minister of State of the UAE, who received the book on behalf of Her Highness Sheikha Fatima, the Mother of the Nation. Her Excellency Dr. Maytha Al-Shamsi serves as an advisor to Her Highness Sheikha Fatima and has been a keen advocate for the advancement of women. We will now watch a message from her.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الأخوة والأخوات. بداية يسعدني أن أنقل لكم تحيات من الشيخ. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الأخوة والأخوات. بداية يسعدني أن أنقل لكم تحيات سمو الشيخة فاطمة بنت مبارك أم الإمارات رئيسة الاتحاد النسائي العام، الرئيس الأعلى لمؤسسة التنمية الأسرية، رئيسة المجلس الأعلى للأمومة والطفولة. كما يسرني أن أنقل تهنئتها بمناسبة يوم المرأة الإماراتية واعتزازها بكل ما قدمته ابنة الإمارات من إنجازات ملموسة انعكست في التقدم الذي تعيشه دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة. فمنذ البداية أيقنت سموها أن الاهتمام بالمرأة وإعدادها للحياة والمستقبل أمراً ضرورياً وهاماً، وأن التنمية لن تتحقق بدون مشاركتها، وذلك عن طريق تزويدها بالعلم والمعرفة وتمكينها وتعزيز قدراتها للمساهمة البناءة، والتي حتماً ستصب في صالح التنمية الاقتصادية والتنمية الاجتماعية وبشكل عام في تحقيق التنمية المستدامة. مدركة سموها أن الجهود المبذولة في هذا المجال تركز في جانب كبير منها على المرأة، فهي الأم والمربية وصانعة الأجيال. كما تثمن سموها دور كل من ساهم في إنتاج كتاب إماراتيات منجزات ومشاركة startAD، منصة تسريع الأعمال العالمية المدعومة من شركة تمكين، والتي تتخذ من جامعة نيويورك أبو ظبي مقرا لها، وسفارة الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية في دولة الإمارات، والمكتب الإعلامي لحكومة أبو ظبي على إصدارها لهذا الكتاب، والذي يتضمن قصص نجاح 51 امرأة إماراتية يعملن في مجال الاستدامة البيئية والاجتماعية والاقتصادية، وذلك من خلال عرض خبراتهن وأفكارهن الملهمة. وتعتبر مساهمة هذه المجموعة من النساء ممن تناولهن الكتاب نماذج مشرفة لمشاركة المرأة الإماراتية في مسيرة التنمية، كما تعتبر إنجازاتهن تمهيداً لمسيرة عمل الأجيال القادمة من الفتيات والنساء الملهمات لتمكينهن من تحقيق إنجازات رائعة ومؤثرة. ولا شك أن تدوين إنجازات المرأة يعد مرجعاً للأجيال القادمة لاستلهام القيم الداعمة من أجل نجاح المرأة والارتقاء بمكانتها. فكل التحية والإجلال والإكبار لأم الإمارات سمو الشيخة فاطمة بنت مبارك، قائدة مسيرة النهضة النسائية الظافرة والملهمة الأولى للمرأة الإماراتية، وخالص التهنئة لسموها في هذا اليوم، وجزاها الله عنا خير الجزاء، وكل عام وأنتم بخير.
Maytha Al-Shamsi for her recognition and support. We're all looking forward to growing this community together. Now it is my pleasure to introduce you to an exemplary Emirati woman, an exemplary Emirati leader to the fore. Rima Al-Mukarram is the Executive Director of Strategic Affairs at the Executive Affairs Authority, a government agency mandated to provide strategic policy advice to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the President of the UAE. She also chairs the board of Tamkeen LLC, a company that delivers projects enriching Abu Dhabi's social, cultural, and educational landscape. Tamkeen is New York University's partner in the UAE, enabling NYU Abu Dhabi's ongoing development as a local and global center of academic excellence and community engagement. It also founded startAD in 2016 to create a business accelerator that today steers innovative startups to scale in Abu Dhabi, the UAE, and beyond. Additionally, she sits on the Board of Trustees of New York University, is a board member of the Emirati Center for Strategic Studies and Research, and previously served on the board of the UAE Space Agency. Rima, I invite you to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you very much, Nihal. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Ramesh and Robin, for your inspiring words and deeds that have built and contributed to the UAE's entrepreneurial ecosystem. You are truly valued members of this community and have done something inspiring for UAE. So thank you. And hello, everyone, and welcome. It is so wonderful to be here with you today to celebrate Emirati Women's Day. I'm so proud of all of you and so happy to be here. Since UAE's founding just over 50 years ago, we've been guided by the late Sheikh Zayed's far-sighted vision. His vision for a prosperous nation encouraged strong and active participation by all members of society, and especially women. We are part of UAE's incredible story of resilience, growth, and achievement. And I thought it would be fitting to honor this day by borrowing a quote from Her Highness Sheikha Fatima bint Mubarak. In describing the role of women, Her Highness said, "The concept of the empowerment of women in the UAE is no longer a linguistic term or theory. It's a reality. The active participation of women in all areas is now clear to see in every facet of Emirati society. Here in UAE, we don't just talk the talk. Empowering women is a top priority pursued by an entire ecosystem of stakeholders. Our nation is living proof of how women's empowerment can drive innovation and sustainable growth." And you've heard all the brilliant statistics from our inspiring speakers, so I'm not going to repeat them again. You know full well that UAE is ranked first in the Arab world in terms of gender parity by the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report, and all the other fantastic statistics that make us who we are. In Abu Dhabi and all across the Emirates, our diverse economy is championed by pioneering women who are central to making UAE a global hub for innovation, talent, and investment, and that means you. Across all sectors, whether diplomats, scientists, artists, teachers, astronauts, women are actively charting a path of progress in UAE and beyond. The next 50 years will see even greater strides as more and more Emirati women and girls are empowered to lead and contribute in their chosen field. When Tamkeen launched startAD back in 2016, we did so to enable startups to develop and scale ventures alongside local and global partners. These startups now create jobs and develop products and services that drive innovation in critical sectors. That includes technology, energy, and food. Since its inception, female founders have been a constant feature in startAD programs. Women made up over half the Ibtikari youth and entrepreneurship programs and 45% of the conscious investor fellowships. That last figure is especially remarkable considering that the global share of female venture capitalists is just 15%. Through the Emirati Women Achievers campaign, we shine a light on the inspiring women that have participated in startAD's programs and who are breaking ground with businesses across UAE. we also highlight the important contributions of women who are mentors, policymakers, and program champions. These are the people without whom the road to success would be a lot more difficult than it already is. So with that, I offer my congratulations to the 51 women we are celebrating today. I am so proud of you. Your individual journeys are now captured forever in this book and will surely inspire everyone who reads it. And I thank each of you for continuing to blaze new trails. You are all part of an incredible story in UAE, and today we honor you, and of course we thank and honor those who came before us as we make way for the generations of future leaders and innovators to come. Thank you.
Inspiring words. It is now the exciting moment to unveil the book. Congratulations to all the women being recognized today. Please come on stage to join us for the photo op for the media. All the Emirati women achievers seated here. You can access the stage through this ramp. Please join us on stage. And Hannah Barakat, our Senior Associate Director, is the nucleus of this photo. So she is your guiding star. Please surround her. Yeah. So you can stay either on the floor or on the stage, but please surround Hannah because that'll be the angle.
I move fast. Thank you. Thank you. Smile. Keep looking here. Yes, you're doing great. This part. Okay, to the left. Yes, to the right. Okay. Another 20 seconds. I promise that will be moving. Yes, are you happy? Everyone has a shot? Thank you. Thank you.
So we will now take a short 10-minute break. We begin with a panel discussion featuring some of the most brilliant, grounded women who are creating great strides with the work that they do. I would like to invite Iman Al-Mugheri, our moderator for the day, Dr. Aisha Al-Yamahi, the board advisor for Aleph Education. Please join us on stage. Maysa Al-Khafaji, the CEO and founder of Therapy. Salwa Al-Zahmi, founder and CEO of SPL Co. And Samah Al-Hajri, director of the Cooperative Reserves in the Ministry of Economy.
3, 2, 1. Is that?
Yeah.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. My name is Iman Al-Mugheri, and I'm the head of communication at Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy. I'm currently pursuing higher degrees in cultural diplomacy. I'm honored to be the moderator of a panel discussion today with remarkable female figures from different backgrounds. It is my pleasure to join you in celebration of Emirati Women's Day, and this year's special theme of Inspiring Reality, Sustainable Future. startAD launched this campaign and book featuring innovation and entrepreneurship, successful stories from 51 inspirational Emirati women. Therefore, we are joined by 4 of these exceptional women who are leaders in various fields and are homegrown role models to share their experiences from heart to heart. Without further ado, allow me to properly introduce each of the panelists. Starting with Salwa Al-Zahmi, CEO and founder of the tech startup SPL Co. Limited and head of the Emirates ICT Innovation Center's Software Modernization Quality Project. As well, Dr. Aisha Al-Yamahi, Academic Board Advisor at Aleph Education. And as well, Maysa Al-Khafaji, a social entrepreneur, communication expert, and the owner of Therapy. And last but not least, Samah Al-Hajri, Director of Department of Cooperatives and Strategic Reserve at the Ministry of Economy. Now, starting our conversation today with a few of the questions and welcoming to our very honored guests. I'm very happy to be with you today. And my first question, out of an interest and being a young lady, so much to learn from our inspirational figure, allow me to start maybe from the left to the right, starting with, tell us a bit more about yourself and what inspired you to start this venture.
Well, first, thank you very much for having me today, part of the panelists. And let's give a bit of myself. I'm Salwa Al-Zahmi, the founder and CEO of SPL Co. It is a deep tech startup. And also, I'm leading the software engineering research group at Iptic Research Center at Khalifa University. One of the main things that inspired me really to start my business after 13 years of experience in the industry, both in private and R&Ds, is really to contribute to the community that I'm in. It's like I have a lot of passion for tech, particularly in software engineering. So I was always inspired to say, what is going to be the value that I'm going to add it to that communities? So I got faced a lot of challenges, and I think, okay, I have a great ideas actually that can solve that. So from that on, I just thought, okay, I'm going to start my startup and try to contribute to that field, specifically in software engineering. The second part of it is like, I saw there is a lot of investment that our country is putting in research, a huge investment that end up in papers or minimum prototypes in our labs. So I was taking these kind of roles and be like one of the first to commercialize IP that's developed in these universities to the markets, which is one of the very, I would say, I would love actually to be a path for many to come after.
Thank you so much, Samah. Over to you, Salwa.
Yes, Salwa.
Apologies.
Okay. So, what is exactly, I would say, inspires me? But before that, of course, I really would like to thank startAD, Tamkeen, and New York University to put such a beautiful event. And actually seeing all of those women by itself is an inspiration. So, coming back to your question, so what has exactly inspired me? I would say it was curiosity. Since I was young, I used always to question, like, why do we have that law? Why do we have that policy? Why people actually behave in a such way, or why the market is in that way? However, I didn't really plan for any of this. It was just that curiosity. I really liked to dig further to know what is going on, why we are living in such environment. So that the why itself was really my driver to really go further, and I felt a little bit the importance of growth. This is where I really need to grow further and understand what is going on. So what has exactly happened, I would say, after graduation, and maybe in my generation, and this is kind of a message to the new generation, I would say, I think they are Generation Z, maybe. There are some codes for those generations. So we really were raised in a way, even the ecosystem, to just study, graduate, then secure your job. However, I did all of that, alhamdulillah, yani, God blessed me. I started back in ADNOC and oil and gas. However, when I reached to a certain level, again, I start to question, is this something I really wanted? Alhamdulillah, again, good salary, a good position. And then, luckily, 3 years back, here where I figured out that there is something called purpose. I really now to figure out and find out what is exactly the purpose I'm living for. Is it the children? Is it the family? Is it the job? Is it the money? I came to know with a certain, and I really advise everyone to do that exercise with a certain coach. I really got a coach and a mentor to help me to figure out that. And it became actually to enable the people around me in a different way. Enablement now, I can do it in my position by a policy, by a law, that I can see the impact, or maybe within my friends and family, to help people how you can really do a certain thing or give that advice. Till here, I will stop, since, to give the chance.
Thank you so much, Samah. And over to you, Dr. Aisha.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here with everyone today at such an amazing event. My name is Aisha Al-Yamahi. Currently, I am board advisor at Alif Education, which is a major edtech company in Abu Dhabi. I completed my PhD in education. My thesis focus in the impact of the artificial intelligence and the digital learning on the student performance and teacher in Abu Dhabi. I was keen on capturing the important role of technology in education sector because I saw it when it's implemented in Alif platform. Alif platform was implemented in one school in Abu Dhabi, and nowadays is implementing in every school, every public school across the UAE, and in more than 170 private schools also across the UAE, in addition to a number of schools in USA and Indonesia.
Impressive. Indeed, very impressive.
Thank you for having me today, Iman.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha. And over to you, Maysa. In 1 minute, can you tell us who's Maysa and what inspires you to start your venture?
Thank you, Iman. First of all, am I here? Is
Very
it clear?
well. Can everyone hear Maysa?
Can any? Yes, thank you. And again, taking the lead from a lot of the ladies and what they had to say today. It is first and foremost a privilege to be on stage and also to be amongst the presence of so many in the room. But also I feel a privilege amongst those who haven't been on stage, showcased out there. Many Emirati females, achievers on a day-to-day basis. Every milestone that they achieve on a day-to-day basis counts. As for who Maysa is, I'd like to say that Maysa is a very proud mother of 3 wonderful souls who have shaped more or less the person that I have become today. I have started a very interesting journey. So I started in healthcare. I'm a clinical pharmacist by vocation. I moved on and I worked within corporate. So I worked within corporate strategy, project management, corporate communications. And I found myself through my own trajectory to be a social entrepreneur in the area of healing and self-development. And that is touching upon what was said earlier on. The drive was really questioning who I was, what was my purpose, why was I doing what I was doing, wearing so many hats, being a present mother, a present wife, a present daughter, a present leader. I was spreading myself so thin, and I felt that I needed to really capture what it was and what it felt like to feel fulfilled, because I was evolving on my career path, but my self-development was not growing at the same rate. And I really wanted to seek different tools and different ways of connecting with myself and understanding what it was that I really wanted to do in life. And from there on, that was how therapy was born. I invested in a lot of courses. I did one-to-one sessions, group sessions, and I am now a Theta healer, a Reiki healer, an NLP practitioner, and still a learner and a student of life. And I wanted to create a community where people who were at a similar stage, questioning their purpose, what they wanted to fulfill, confusion, you know, they've ticked all the boxes, but they still feel that there's something lacking and something missing. And it was a way of creating a community where people could come, connect with themselves and each other, be vulnerable, but not be judged. And it's also a way of sustainability in the sense that if you give people the tools, they can then lead themselves and navigate themselves. So even though I come from conventional medicine, I didn't advocate pill popping, and that's not to say that wasn't, you know, it works for some people and it's necessary. But for me, I felt there were so many different ways where you could give people the tools to better themselves, to realize their true potential, connect with their inner truth. And then that's sustainable because it has a repercussive effect in society and community.
Thank you so much, Maysa.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much, ladies, for giving us an insight about you. I'll be moving on to the next question, which we're going to get to dig deeper about each and one of you, starting with Dr. Aisha. What were your challenges you had to overcome in your current field, and how did you go about it?
As a rule of thumb, every change comes with challenges and opportunity. And to lead the change toward utilizing the digital learning and modern digital platform in education sector, it was my major challenge. This is true, especially true with parent and veteran teachers. To overcome this challenge, we sit as a team and we put an extensive professional development plan for teacher, to train teacher on how the best practice of Aleph and show them how Aleph can save their time and effort as well. And also we want a teacher to become part of this journey. So we established an initiative, it's called Ambassadors, Aleph Ambassadors. Some teachers, selected teachers, get this opportunity and become as ambassadors to train their colleague in the best practice of Aleph. This is about teacher, but also we want to engage parent in their children learning journey. So we held a lot of sessions to show them how they can support their children. And also we established an app, it's called Guardian app, that enable all parents to observe their children on daily basis. And they can observe and see how their children progress and doing at school.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha. And as well, Salwa would love to know from you, and I would repeat the question just to refresh your memory. What were the challenges you had to overcome, and how did you go about it? I'm sure you have a lot to share as well.
I have a lot of challenges, particularly being in a tech sector, a male-dominant sector, let's say. So just out of it, just a joke, is like sometimes I've been an outlier when I'm pitching for investors, being in a deep tech, like in a cloud computing, and because my startup actually offering a technology in cloud computing. So we automate the process of moving application to the cloud. So, and it is a spin-off coming up from the university, which is something is the unique about it. We call it a deep tech. Deep tech startups is a company that is selling a product which is based on scientific innovation and findings. So the challenge a lot is coming from that part of it. Investors find it like it is a risky business to invest in, which is one of the biggest challenges that I'm facing now. So they see like the market study for it is very few, and the market entry is difficult. So how to minimize that, how to reduce that risk, particularly in our regions, they are more looking for a company that will have a very quick return of their investment. They don't have to wait like 3 to 2 years to get that investment back. So what I have to do is actually, so to tell them that this is a unique disruptive technology, is have a need for it, is to have to build a successful story with the major players in the sectors, which is in my case, I have built a successful project with British Telecom in UK that are being used, the technology have been used across multiple of projects there, many users, and also Salat. So the success stories and the feedbacks and what they have is really get me a lot of investors to come invest in it. It requires a lot of dedication, passion. That's why I'm saying that if you don't have passion of what you are doing, you will not continue and see a lot of obstacles. The second obstacle that I'm facing is like the IP commercializations. Again, coming from universities, the IP commercialization maturity is not there yet. You will find there is a gap between the universities and the way that they transfer intellectual properties to the startups. And also you see the startup ecosystems. The startup ecosystem, they want a startup that can easily get investment. And if you're talking about the university, they put a lot of policies and rules that is make it very hard to start up to secure that investment. There is a gap. So how to minimize that gap? So in here, what I try to reach to connections through Prime Minister Office, a major player in the startup ecosystem, startAD, Hub 71, to come and talk to the Technology Transfer Office and see there is a challenge in there. Our ecosystem is still not ready at the one in US or in UK. So there is something still need to be building together. And this is the two major things, I would say. And
okay. Good news for Salwa, though. I'm having the project for commercialization of IP.
So I think you guys maybe have seen.
So I think we made the connection already here. So yeah. Enablement, again, with such and innovative. I'm really proud to hear the details of your startup, to be honest, especially in tech.
Thank you so much, Salwa and Samah, for adding in. And on that note, Samah, a question for you, but more on the personal side. We would love to know who or what point was actually helpful in your journey. Like, how did you start from Samah being the young girl up to now? How was your journey, and who was in specific, to add a more personal answer to it?
Very interesting question. The what and who. So we're going to start with what. So I believe it started from home. We had been raised in an environment where there is no really difference between me being the daughter or the son. So we were all treated equally. And that really gave a huge confidence for me to go further outside the house. By the way, I was giving a hard time for my mom. Sorry, mom, for that. I was playing with the boys outside with the neighbors. So I felt like, you know what, there is no difference. And later on, of course, I recognized that. Then the who. And the who is a very tricky question. Definitely, I would tell you that the people around me. However, I believe the biggest supporter is myself, to be honest. Although, thanks to my husband, kids, family, parents, friends, but again, going back to yourself being the biggest supporter, I learned to show up for myself, always. I knew the importance of cheering, up for myself when there's no one's there.
It all starts from
myself. I finished a certain project. Who cares? I do care. Immediately I would go buy something for myself, treat myself somewhere. I do that. We work in a very stressful environment. I'm handling the strategic reserve of the country, المخزون الاستراتيجي, basically, that everyone heard in Corona. It was a very stressful period of time. So for you to keep going, you need to take care of yourself first. So you can provide that support to your family, friends. People will support you if they saw you supporting yourself. When you stand for yourself, people will come and support you further. For me, this is like the main message I really want to share with everyone today.
Thank you so much for actually personalizing it and sharing the different point of view of it. Thank you. And I'm sure Maisa has to add a lot as well on that point. So allow me to ask again, who or what was helpful in your journey?
Well, unlike what Samah had said, it wasn't a case of myself was the obvious. What I felt I needed to change and address was the narrative that I created for myself. And that narrative was someone who was conditioned from the environment that I was in, similar to what Ramesh had touched upon. So it was a case of, you cannot do this. This is your limit. You are a mother. Yes, you're a career woman, but you are expected to uphold a certain, how shall we say, threshold and not go beyond. So for me, it was really unlearning those learnings and really trying to invest in a lot of time, removing all these layers and what I felt were limiting programs and beliefs that I had, till I got to that point where I understood that you could pretty much create any reality that you wish. But up until then, if you just continue with the rhetoric and you continue with these programming and these thoughts and these processes, then you limit yourself to what it is that you are able to achieve. So it took me a while to get to that stage where I felt that I was the person that was the advocate and I was the person that could pursue and continue, and it was me. But that's not to say that there wasn't a support network that I had, both professional and personal. Personal, ironically speaking, was people that I came to got to know through programs such as the startAD Manasa program, and I'm not scoring brownie points. For me, I had crossed paths with people who had dreams and visions, but they were struggling and striving to understand how to get there, but then we came to understand and realize the outcome is always going to be there. The destination is always there. It's how you get there, and it's the life learnings and the experiences and the mentors, and that all made it very kind of multifaceted and very colorful. So it wasn't just like an A to B. It was like, I think I remember coming across, it was a diagram somewhere on social media, and it was a case of, you know, the real entrepreneur cycle of getting through from A to B is kind of going through a roller coaster loophole up and down, and then you get there. It's never linear. But I was very fortunate to come across, you know, different individuals from a professional standpoint, from a personal standpoint, who really made that journey so much more fulfilling and meaningful. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your heartwarming words, Maysa.
Thank you.
Now going to Dr. Aisha with another question. As a child in this country, what were your dreams growing up? And that's actually one of our favorite questions. And what are they now?
Since I was a child, I always dreamed of becoming a change leader. Today, as I witness firsthand that technology is one of the main pillars of shaping what the future will look like. Digital learning and digital platform make the learning accessible for everyone, everywhere and anytime. And also it's tailored of individual needs of a student. That's why I am happy to be one of the leaders of this change. Our country, thankfully, our country is has proven it's the first of many fields. I am certain it's in the way to become as just an education field with the support of all greatest mind with us today, inshallah.
A similar question actually goes to Samah. We wanted to know, what was she as a child and what's her dreams growing up now?
So, being a child, I had a very wild dreams.
We got an insight already.
Yeah. I was watching a lot of FBI's movies, so I thought one day I'm gonna be an FBI agent. There's a lot of things, and again, the creativity, the imagination really played another role that I'm seeing now. Where did I reach now? I figured out that I can be whatever I want. I can have multiple personality at the same time, and I'm serious. I can be that formal person, director in the ministry. 2 hours later on, I just leave office. I can be that, runner on the beach. I can laugh. I can have fun. So the person that I came it's not about a profession rather than having that impact. And here where I really differentiate two things. Again, it's not about being a director or being any other profession. How can I really make that impact? How can I deliver a value? And this is, again, something keep evolving, I would say, year after year. I used to talk about something else. My dreams, my ambition was totally different than what I was saying before 2 years when Corona happened. Immediately, I'm a very dynamic, the way I keep thinking. So next year, I will meet with you, inshallah, and I'm gonna talk exactly something different. I'm gonna assure you that.
Constantly in advancement is actually a great thing.
Yeah, so the last thing that I was really happy with is I work in a very complicated sector, which is economy. I noticed that within family and friends and even the public, there is a lot of aspects they really don't understand. When a policy is out, like, okay, so what what is there for me? What is in it for me? So this where it took me actually back in March, where I really took a very, I would call it a bold step. And I started to open my account publicly for the people. on Instagram, sharing what is going on behind the scenes, why government is doing that. And this is very important because we keep living in this beautiful country, I would say. However, when there is any regulation out, people doesn't really understand what is going on behind the scenes. We are trying our best to balance between the different stakeholders in the ecosystem. But people always think like, okay, what is in it for me? So I took that responsibility, to be honest, first of all, to raise awareness, deliver value to the people, and make an impact, and maybe, humbly, to make some inspiration to the young people that they can do better than what we are doing, actually. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And speaking of young people, we have a question for Selva. And we want to know from your experience, what is the message you would like to share for emerging young visionaries?
Well, this is my favorite questions. And because, after all this journey that I've been in, starting working in a very low paid, let's say, job at the private sector, to this stage when I'm starting my own business and leading a research center. So I would say the message that I want to have, you should have your passion. You should always be in an area where you would love to be in and you want to contribute in. I shift completely from medicine to technology. From the education, I find myself, and I was creating things. So I said, okay, this is what I want to. I didn't go to the government sector to say what I'm gonna do actually to build more skills and knowledge. Skills and knowledge is really your big backbone. So where to get them? I worked in a private sectors for hours, late hours. I was the only lady working for them, the only programmer working for them, and most of them were male. So you have to really show that you're a kind to deliver, otherwise you have to leave. Yeah. So that's really period of my time where I built my skills. It was give me a lot of confidence. Later, when I see all this, because I have a passion in tech, what would be really to do for my communities is either in tech in general and for UAE specifically. We do a lot of outsourcings and we need to have this governance for our technologies. So what I could think of can help. Second, then I have to move to R&D because I need a space, right, to study and build that. So each step in my career was for a purpose, what to do to deliver the value that I want, which is contribute to the community. The second thing, I want to be a model for others who are going to come after, especially if you have innovative ideas that you're building in research. Don't stop there. You have to take it to the market because this is what our country knows. We need to support our knowledge economy, right? So and that wouldn't happen if you just started taking your degrees. And the second thing, and other message that I want to pass, and it is the responsibilities of every individual here in UAE. There is a huge investment, there is a huge money, there is a lot of programs that have been put for us to easy to reach. Incubator program, like startAD accelerators, a huge fund is putting just for you to come to them, put your ideas, and they will take you over to another stage. It's really about you really feeling that your role in your communities and what is the value that you want to add in. Yeah, that is all.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that message will come across to all young visionaries. Going to our last question that goes to Mesa. We would love to hear the same message as well that you have for young people nowadays.
Okay, so I feel very strongly that my message is two things, grit and persistence. You will find, as I had mentioned previously, the process is not linear. It has highs and lows. You will have a lot of closed doors. You will have a lot of people who don't understand what your concept is. I remember feeling so frustrated at the point of, especially when you're pitching to investors, really, you're so passionate and committed about this concept and you can see what the impact is going to be. But to try to explain it, specifically when you're in a room full of male investors, and they just do not see the passion and will obviously say it's not going to be smooth sailing. There are going to be times where people will question your credibility, will question the success of your idea, but you have to believe in that idea. You have to, there will be moments of self-doubt. I will not say that they don't creep in, but that's really when you have to understand that that's the crunch point. It's you, baby. You're the one that's going to take it. No one else is going to walk that walk for you. So really, grit and persistence, just keep at it and believe in that dream. It may take overnight, it may take months, it may take years. I just came back from a holiday in Montenegro, and we stayed in a beautiful, beautiful UNESCO heritage site, a palace that took the owner 10 years to get the approval before he could open it as, as a hotel.
That's definitely perseverance.
10 years, and yet he believed in it. And that's why I'm saying just keep at it and things will happen. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing a personal story. I would like to thank as well our achievers and our inspirational ladies. Myself, I was inspired. I'm sure the rest was inspired equally as well. I'm afraid this is the time we have left for today. Again, thank you to all in the crowd and as well watching us online. And thank you to our panelists. Each of you is a true inspiration for us and for future generations of women. It's been a great pleasure to have you all with us to celebrate Emirati Women's Day panel hosted by startAD. Thank you for bringing us together, and to all guests in person and watching us online as well. I hope you enjoyed the panel and have a great day to the end of your day. Thank you all.
Please join me in a round of applause for our amazing panelists once again. I've had the privilege of working very closely with quite a few members on our panel, and I can tell you, it's really heartwarming to see where they are in just a short span of a couple of years. And this is the kind of community that we are talking about. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today, for sharing your time and your wisdom and your experience with such generosity. Thank you. So we're just moving the stage setup for the next part of the evening. I want to tell you about the whole idea of Emirati Women Achievers. This was born out of the interactions that I had with amazing women through the startAD programs, entrepreneurs, investors, mentors, researchers, and more. And like I said, it is this sense of community that propels us forward. We are now arriving at the most awaited part of the event. Before that, we have a small message to play for you.
We wanted to tell the stories of our nation, the stories of growth, courage, and strength, to shed the light on those who dream, who create realities, to empower others. For the first time ever, stories of 51 innovative Emirati women are being told, celebrating 51 years of the Union. startAD is on a mission to highlight homegrown role models, documenting the stories of Emirati women, changing the landscape of the UAE's economy, shifting mindsets, and rewriting their dreams into tales of success, to create a strong legacy for the generations to come. And now that you're flipping through the pages of the Emirati Women Achievers commemorative book, it's your time to feel inspired by the stories of the women who stood up, built this nation, and soared.
I invite Hannah Barakat, our Senior Associate Director, and Robin Solomon from the US Mission to join us on stage. Jahan from my team, who all of you know and have been interacting with over the last few weeks, will call your names in alphabetical order. When you're called to the stage, please access the stage to this ramp, come to the center of the backdrop, and we will have a photo with each one of you receiving the book. If anybody hasn't checked in yet, please flag it to us. We also have some of our women achievers who are joining us via the live stream and will be on stage still because we'll still have a photo moment to commemorate all of them. With that, I'll hand it over to you, Jahan. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. I'm so sorry, but you will have to clap 51 times for the 51 exceptional women. So without further ado, let me introduce you to all the women who are shaping the future, the history, and the present of the innovation in the UAE. Ahlam Ali, Director of Public Relations at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center. Amna Al-Hosseini, Vice President of Cultural Engagement at Adar Properties Company. And joining us via live stream, Esma Shihi, who couldn't make it today, but she is the founder of My Words Project to help autistic children communicate. The fourth woman is Aisha Dhahiri, entrepreneur, founder of Urology, sustainability consultant, and beekeeper. We also joining us via live stream, Dima Abdelhadi, entrepreneur in petrochemical industries and owner of Plastozone Plastic Industries. Our own Assistant Dean of Students at New York, Abu Dhabi, Dr. Aisha Naqvi. And you've all heard her inspiring story and her journey, Dr. Aisha Yamahi, Academic Board Advisor at Alif Education, and the first Emirati woman to obtain a PhD in artificial intelligence-powered digital learning. Dr. Halima Naqbi, founder of GenoMatched, and created the first Arabic reference of histocompatibility complex genes. Dr. Hind Dhahiri, emergency medicine consultant and director of emergency department at Tawam Hospital. We also have Dr. Mariam Suleiman, consultant, founder and CEO of Kaizen Training and Event Management and 2071 Mall Smart E-Commerce. Our amazing moderator and the head of communication at the Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy, Ms. Iman Mgheri. Farah Al-Qaisiya, founder of the support group Stutter UAE, who transformed her own struggle with stuttering into a full support platform with a global reach. The creative Fatma Abdulrahman, founder and creative director of Timography. We also have Fatma Al-Mansouri, founder of Designs by Faye with modern design concepts. Thank you. Two exceptional women couldn't join us today, but we feel like the names of the 51 women and their titles and their achievements should be all highlighted. So please clap for Fatma Al-Mulla. She's a scientist and researcher at the Advanced Center for Biochemical Engineering at the University College of London, specializing in vaccines and plasmid DNA production, and Halima Al-Uwais, CEO of Sultan bin Ali Al-Uwais Real Estate and a member of the board of directors of the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce. Hamda Al-Ansari, an entrepreneur and past life organizer. Hamda Al-Ansari. The three names I'm also going to mention now could not be able to make it, but again, their names should be mentioned. Khadija Bahzad, founder and CEO of Meet the Locals UAE. Layla Abdul Latif, Director General of the Emirates Nature Society. Latifa bin Haidar, founder of Baytuki, a platform for real estate investments and co-founder of Mental Health UAE. Mahad Daqaq, entrepreneur, founder of Meme Events. Another panelist, Maisal Khafaji, social entrepreneur, communication expert, and owner of Therapy. Manal Al-Ariani, director of Little Helpers Nursery and an innovator in the field of education. Mariam Al-Musallam, engineer and head of initiatives for small and medium enterprises development at Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development. Marwa Al-Mansouri, who's tuning us, is a founding member of the United Women's Network and a member of the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce. Our exceptional Mariam Al-Ansari, a mechanical engineer at CubeSat Laboratory, shaping the future of the energy and space sector in the UAE. Mariam Liflasi, co-founder of Iris Art Advisory, and Mira Sejwani, sales manager at Etisalat E and. The incubator chief at the Authority of Social Contribution, MAN, Ms. Muna Al-Hashimi. On behalf of her sister, Muna Al-Jnabi, Munal will be receiving the award, the book, the founder and the CEO of BFF Gram. Moza Al-Kabi, the author of That's Not What the Books Say, to raise awareness around pregnancy and childbirth and parenting in our society. Najla Al-Mutawwa, entrepreneur and founder of Hakaya online platform. Noor Al-Awadi, founder of Mend Hero Academy, telling the stories of the UAE in a creative way. Noura Belislah and Roda Limrehi. Noura is the project manager at Gal Aircraft, founder of Trend Over Spend, and Roda Limrehi is the associate director of outreach at the Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. They couldn't be here today, but you know the drill. Roda Thani, entrepreneur, creative director, and founder of LE Studio. Reem El-Ammari, entrepreneur and founder of two apps, Baqa and Wasla. Najla Al-Qasim, Director of Information Technology at Dubai Media. Reem Al-Junaybi, tech entrepreneur and founder of Trip. Reem Al-Musbah, founder and CEO of Retech and member of the Dubai Youth Council for 2021. Reem Al-Suwaidi, senior manager at the Excellence Program at Dubai Airports. And one of our exceptional panelists, Ms. Salwa Al-Zahmi, CEO and founder of the tech startup SPL Co. Limited and the head of the Emirates Information and Communications Technology Innovation Center Modernization Quality Project. Another exceptional panelist, Ms. Samah Al-Hajri, Director of the Department of Cooperatives and Strategic Reserve at the Ministry of Economy. Sarah Shirugi, founder of Reflect Creative Arts Center. Shema Al-Mihyas, who's tuning in online, is an entrepreneur and the founder of Baby Spa. Shema Al-Ali, entrepreneur and founder of Utopia Bakery. Shema bin Lahaj, founder of Sard Coffee Roasters platform. We also have Shireen Al-Suwaidi, who is an entrepreneur and founder of Ritual Cafe Studio. He couldn't be with us today. Sonia Al-Marzougi, CEO and founder of Sama Fast Food. So Sonia will be the last one joining us on stage. But Suad Shemma, the Senior Communications Manager at Procter & Gamble, chef and food blogger, couldn't make it today because she became a mother a few days ago. So Congrats to Suad and congrats to the 51 women who made history, are making the present and are foreseeing the future to 50 more years of the growth of the UAE leading innovation in the world. Thank you.
Amazing. Once more, a huge round of applause, please, for the amazing women in the room. Congratulations to all of you. With that, we come to a close of our program today and to the beginning of an important movement. Many of you have told me on a personal capacity, we spoke about it on the stage today, that this sense of community can be very helpful in all our personal journeys as we move forward. I know some members who we've been working with for a while. It's so great to see how much you're going forward and how much you've achieved. I can't wait to see the new mountains that you're going to scale and how you're going to soar. So congratulations once again. Thank you to all of you who have joined us today to support and recognize this program. Like I mentioned, you can go back and see the live stream. We have a digital version of the book that you can download and share with your networks and communities. And we also are accepting nominations for next year's program. So check it out on our website. And feel free to nominate community members that you think are also deserving. With that, we close the program for today. Have a wonderful evening ahead, and happy Emirati Women's Day in advance.